Hey, what's going on YouTube? Just wanted to make a video on charging a Zero motorcycle. It's pretty simple, but there's two different ways you can charge it, and I just wanted to show you guys my setup. So what you get when you buy the bike, every Zero comes with a charging cable, which is just it's just a PC cord. This one's higher gauge than most PC cords, but the fit is the same. So that would plug into your PC power supply or PlayStation 3 or something. So it's nice that Zero did this. They didn't use some proprietary style plug that if you lost it or wanted a spare, you had to spend all sorts of money. But you do need to make sure that the cable that you use is of enough gauge, because this is about 1.2 kilowatts. It usually charges that. So I keep that one in the bike. It sits in that little cubby. So if I go somewhere, I'll always have it with me. I can stop at someone's house. If I need to spend the night, I'll plug it in. It'll be all set in the morning. But I keep this one here just kind of dangling up there in a coat hanger. And this one's good for 10 amps. So that's enough for charging level 1. So you come over to the side of the bike, and there's a little plug that you pull out. Now, normally what I've been doing is I've actually been unplugging this first before I plug it into the bike. I didn't notice anything in the manual about this, but when you plug it in, you hear it spark a little bit. And over time, arcing, can damage your contacts. So I like to plug it in here first and let the arcing happen over at the outlet, where I really don't care as much, because it's just an outlet I can replace for $1. So you hear it just, I don't know if you heard it. Here, I'll do it again. Little click in there. So I like having that happen at the outlet, not on the bike. But, just a minor thing. Wasn't necessarily a cheap machine, so I like to take care of it. So once you plug it in, you hear a relay click in here, and you hear a little buzzing sound. Probably can't even pick it up on the camera. It's very quiet. And you'll get this flashing light on the indicator dash here. So it just goes on and off like that. Now when the bike's done charging, it'll just be a solid green. Now over here, it lights up your time and time until completion of charge. This brings you up to 100%. It's 4 hours and 42 minutes, and it will tell you, hey, it's currently at 48%. Now that's level 1 charging, and you can open up the app. It'll tell you how many amps it's charging at and give you all sorts of other information. So for most people, if you're done riding for the day, you could plug it in, and the next morning you're going to be at 100%. Now I actually have a chart over here, and this is state of charge to get you to 80%. So I put 80%. You need obviously zero time. Now this is the only EV I've ever seen where there's no charge limiter. So unless you unplug it, it will charge to 100%. Now, the manual is very iffy and weird about this, but regardless of what Zero is claiming, this is just lithium battery. This is just what they like, to be charged 80%. And Tesla, Nissan Leaf, Chevy, Bolt, they all have a charge limiter to stop it at 80%, unless you set it, to go higher than that. Zero doesn't do that. And so I haven't gotten it in the mail yet, but I plan to get a timer, so I can just say, okay, I'm at almost 50%. So 50%, and I'll put it to 3.5 hours, and it should charge it to 80%. And then unless I'm going on a longer ride, then I'll just plug it in and just leave it, or just crank it all the way to 12 hours or something, because 12 hours is the max amount of time. This bike was at 0%, 1.2 kilowatts. It's a 14.4 kilowatt hour pack, so it should be about 12 hours if it was completely dead. So that is level 1 charging. Now, this bike you can have built with a level 2 charger, which to me was not an option. It was definitely going to be what I got when I purchased my Zero, and this charges up to 6 kilowatts, and this is your standard J1772, which if you're going anywhere on this bike, besides if you're round tripping it from your house within its range to halfway out and come back, you have to have this accessory, because otherwise you're going to stop, and what are you going to do for 4.5 hours? And that's for half a charge. So I installed one in my garage. That way, if I went to work or did something in the morning and used up a bunch of range, and then realized in the evening I actually want to go out again, that I can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to show you the charge time difference. So 4.5 hours, we're going to go ahead and unplug this. I'm going to unplug it from here again because it likes to arc. And put the plug in. One thing that's nice about EV chargers is they don't actually start charging until you're plugged in, and as soon as you push the button right here, it actually stops in the current. There's a relay in here. You hear it click. And that's important because this is 6,000 watts, whereas that's just 1,200 watts. And so you can only imagine how much this baby would arc. So I usually just turn the breaker on. I have a 50 amp right here. And this is just a portable EV charger I bought. It's a 50 amp plug. And you can do a few different things here. So I have it all the way up to the max it can do. And this is the fastest I've seen this bike be able to charge when I drive into any public charging station. So this is as good as you can get it. It just goes right here, clicks. And something about this charger is interesting is the bike actually needs to be keyed on to start charging. So you'll see, key it on. And it will start charging, and then you can key it off. I don't know why, but seems to be the case. So 4.5 hours gets reduced. It'll start calculating over here, but you see this thing says it's charging. So now it's calculating 1 hour, which seems about right. They claim on their website 2-hour charge time if you're charging from level 2, and I already have half a battery here. So that seems right on point. All right, well, that's the video. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I plan to make more videos about this bike. I've only had it a few weeks, so I'm still learning more about it. So yeah, thanks for watching.